Cougar Sports Saturday.
It's complete. Another touchdown!
Cougar Sports Saturday. A presentation of KSL Sports.
Left wing for three. He got it again!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Here are your hosts, Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Been a big week for BYU with their new basketball coach, Kevin Young. His Phoenix Suns are in action right now. It's 23-22 late in the first. Minnesota. I think there is a heavy rooting interest of BYU fans for Minnesota to win this series, so Kevin Young can get back to BYU quickly and take over full time for BYU. Right now, though, let's switch gears a little bit. BYU football, spring practice is in the rearview mirror, and after the final practice of spring football, the media were invited down to get a bunch of interviews with players, so we had a chance to catch up with Jake Retzlaff, Gary Bohannon, Jack Kelly, and a lot of those dudes. We'll be playing those interviews throughout summer leading up to the start of fall camp for BYU football. Here's my conversation, a one-on-one with Jake Retzlaff, who's vying to be the starting quarterback. And let's just start things off with how spring football was for Jake.
It's been a blast. It's been so fun to get back out there with the guys and, being in the mix. It's like getting all those snaps with all those different receivers, and all those guys are all coming back. So they've all seen it before, and so it's so fun to just keep going. I think that our offense is so far ahead relative to a year ago, and it's so fun to see. And so it's been a great spring.
How much does continuity and just, you're not new to Provo anymore, you've been here a while, and I think that applies to a lot of people who came in from last year. How big of a difference does that make?
Huge difference. Huge, especially this offense. This offense with so many wrinkles and stuff, I'll tell you what, we don't have a lot of different, when it comes to concepts, but we have a million plays because we can do so many different things in so many different ways. And so just being able to be in this offense, understanding the different ins and outs of it, been huge at receiver this year because we got so many guys coming for year two. Been huge at tight end. We got guys that are getting significant time. When a veteran like Isaac Rex is leaving the room, to the NFL, it's like, all right, and the next guy step up. It's been so cool to see those guys own that and play really well. O-line, same thing. It's been just a blast to be. Year two, you get to just take it to another level, so it's a lot of fun.
What was the end of last season like until where we're at today for you?
Once the season ended, it was a weird ending to the year. Obviously the record is not fun to look at, but the way we played in the last two games to compete with two top teams in the country, it was like, okay, we got something. There's no doubt about that. It's like, let's find it and let's improve on it, and I feel like that's what we were doing this spring. And so that's just been so fun to just expand on and just to find that identity, find that competitive edge that we have here, and own that and be that offense that we know we can be. And so it's been fun to just develop that and become that.
What type of offense do you feel like you guys can be?
Explosive one. Scores a lot of points on Saturdays. I mean, we could be the offense that wins in 60-point games if we need. You know what I mean? So it's super exciting to see what we're doing in the spring.
How much of an emphasis was it for you in spring ball to take care of the football? A-Rod noted no picks in spring ball. That's impressive. How high of a priority was that?
Obviously that's up there, protecting the ball. You got to have the ball to score. You got to have the ball to win the game. So that's a big deal always. And so just the ability to do that in the spring, is just a testament to the guys around me, to be honest with you. I mean, I can't do it with the guys around me. I can't, without those guys being in the spots that they need to be at and that they are at and some, they just they make it way easier on me. The O-line, they make it way easier on me. Tight ends, those guys, those receivers, the separation they create, just make it easy on me. And so then I just go out there and try not to screw it up for them.
We're talking with Jake Retzlaff here. What's your summer plans going to be?
That's a great question. Maybe golf a little bit. But, yeah, just stay in the weight room, get faster, get bigger. That's where I'm going to be here all summer, pretty much. I mean, I'll get to go home for a little bit here and there, and that'll be awesome to go enjoy the beach because you don't get that here. And I get that back home. But, yeah, so just, get with the guys, too, do things with the guys. I love this locker room we got. And so just being able to hang out with those guys and build that chemistry even more, it'll be fun.
How often do you think you'll get together with the receivers and throw in the summer? I think that's a big part of summer, is you guys just doing your own thing away from the coaches. How big of a priority is that?
Yeah, it for sure is a priority. One thing, though, is like we push ourselves really hard in these summer workouts, so being smart about it when we do it and stuff like that. And it'll be a gradual increase. We might not start throwing at all in these first few weeks. We probably won't. It's like, guys, take a break from football. We'll just work out. And then, as we get closer and closer and closer to play around practices and stuff like that, then we'll amp it up more and more and more. So it'll be, just like a gradual process to get back into it. But for now, it's like spring ball's over with. It was a good spring, so it's like, all right, let's take a little break from ball, which is really healthy, really good for the guys. You get to go do some other things and then come back even sharper.
You mentioned the beach. What are some of those other things you love to do, and maybe even around Provo? Like, now that you've been here for a while, what do you think of Provo?
Well, here on a climb might not like it, but I love playing like basketball and baseball and stuff like that. So, doing stuff like that's really fun. Just being outside, playing sports, just every sport, pickleball, spike ball, everything. So I just love being outside and running around and hanging out with good people. So.
Were you a multi-sport athlete in high school?
Yeah, I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school all the way through. And basketball cut short. My senior year I didn't play because we had COVID, everything was mixed up. But other than that, the other 3 years I played all three and had a blast playing all three.
What do you think, this is a little off the beaten path here, but what do you think about playing multiple sports helping you eventually in the sport you choose to play versus specializing in one sport and staying in that?
Well, a lot of people, when they watch me play, they see the funny arm angles and stuff, but if you just pull up to one baseball game, you see all of those times 10. Like all those angles times 10. And so like, if people just understand that that's not that crazy of a thing to do. People are doing it in other sports in a million different ways. And so play every sport as long as you can is what I would say to a young athlete. And young people who are trying to develop athletes, like, just play every sport as long as you can, because one, you just get to develop different parts of you and just be able to surprise some people, bring some things. Like, you always bring things from, basketball to baseball, from baseball to football. Like, you're borrowing skills from other sports constantly, and it just allows you to breed your creativity as well. Like, to be able to realize, to draw connections that, like, oh, I do this in baseball, and the same movement is how I do this in football. Like, hitting and throwing are two very similar movements, even though they might not look like it. Throwing on the run is like throwing on the baseball diamond. So it's cool to draw those connections and to be able to expand upon it and be like, oh, okay, so I do this in baseball. This I could probably do here also, in whatever it is. So it's cool to see how that has affected my game. And I think you're seeing more and more quarterbacks at the professional level, like, oh yeah, they all have baseball backgrounds. So, yeah.
A few more moments here with Jake Retzlaff. Are there any games this fall that you're especially looking forward to playing? I know you want to play in them all, but, I just think of it from a fan's perspective. You're always like, oh, there's this one, there's that one. Are there any of those for you?
That's an easy answer. November 9th, by the way, just a little up the road north of here. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then figure it out, honestly. That's the one that's circled, highlighted, starred, and everything. It's going to be a big one, and I'm super excited for it. You win that game, and in this town, you go down as a hero, so I'm really excited for this team to be able to build into that and go down as some heroes and come back to Provo to whatever parade we have.
Yeah, a few weeks back, there was the alumni game. Steve Young shows up. You talked to them. Like, what was it like being able to interact with a guy like Steve Young?
It's incredible, and he's just such a cool dude, so like down to earth, and he's just like football player, dude, just running around out there. He's still running around everywhere. Like, I don't think he walked across the field once. He kept jogging around, so it's cool to see that guy. It's funny, we could sit in this room and talk about what are the three things you would ask Steve Young if you met him. But going to do it, I believe you don't remember any questions that you'd ask him. So at first I was like, oh, hey, I'm Jake. I play quarterback here like you did. But yeah, I mean, I got to pick his brain a little bit and to learn some things from him. So he's one of those guys that, like, you ask the question, who would you want to sit down for 5 minutes with or have dinner with or something like that, and just, pick their brain. He's one of those guys in the football world. And so to be able to meet him and to talk to him a little bit was a blessing, and I hope to see that guy come back around here more often.
Did he give you any advice on playing this position at BYU? It's such an iconic position in Provo. Did he have anything to say to you?
Yeah, I asked him. I said, you've had a lot of success in the game at all levels, and I said, what was different about those teams, the Super Bowls, the years you won MVP? Like, what was different about that? And as simple and as, like, it sounds, it's like all it was basically was after every play, turn the page, and play a new play. I mean, he told me, he used the term reflexive grittiness, and it was basically explained to me as you, no matter what happens to play before, good or bad, you come back and you play the next play for what it is. So, and that just like speaks volumes to you. Today, he was there in practice today. We had a couple bad plays on offense, and I was like, all right, well, whatever, now let's go just kick their butt. And so I think we did that. It was a lot of fun.
You see any other NFL dudes roaming around? I mean, this has got to be the golden era of BYU players in the NFL. Do you ever see them walking around here?
Yeah, I mean, Jaren's been here a lot. Zach came through at one point in the spring. Those are the young guys. You got a guy like Lee Johnson, like walking around here. Like, people don't understand. That guy is hilarious. He's got like something running through his veins that is not normal. But that guy's got so much energy. It's so fun to be around and just talk to him. And that's a guy that like, he's just a legend and doesn't act like it, and nobody knows it. Like, he's so cool like that, and it's fun to see those guys walking around these buildings. And obviously, like up in this, building that we're sitting in right now, you got guys like Tom Homo, Robbie Bosco. Those guys work here. Chad Lewis. Those guys work here. I get to see them all the time. It's just a blessing to be able to have those guys around the building.
Two more things for you. Do you have a favorite uniform?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, a lot of fans might not like it, but I really like our Navy. Our Navy looks really good, and I think people hate on it a little too much. I don't know why, but our Navy looks really good. I don't know. I can't pick a specific jersey. The all black was so sweet. Most people I talk to love the all black, so we hope to be able to bring that one back. And so it's hard to choose one off the top of my head because we got a lot of good combination, and Josh does a great job mixing it up.
All right, that's Jake Retzlaff. Caught up with him at the end of spring practice. Let's take a break. On the other side, probably get back to some hoops with the significant news of the week. A new head basketball coach, Kevin Young. We'll get back to basketball right after this.